sure we'll have some music announcements from Joe Dan or this fellow, funny looking fellow over there.
Over there.
Well, that one over there too. Just as a point of information, some of you may have noticed, most of you haven't, that my facial appearance has changed since the last time you saw me, and that was necessary because of the job that I start tomorrow. I'm told it took 20 years off my life, and I'll be happy to accept that.
Well, everybody go up there tomorrow and harass him.
You can do that. You can do that. Okay, I'll read a little bit. I've had some kind of what's commonly known as the crud here for all week long with this congestion in my chest, so I'm not going to read too much because if I talk too much, I start to cough. But I've read both these books before. This is the Erdman's Book of Christian Poetry. I'd show you the cover, but it's nothing on it, so. Published in 1981, and this is a reprint. I'm just going to read. I'm going to read a poem by John Donne. I don't know if you're familiar with John, but he was around. They're not sure exactly when he was born, but they think it was either 1571 or 2, and he died in 1631. He's considered the greatest of the metaphysical poets of that century. He wrote, you've heard the poem, Death Be Not Proud, he wrote that. I'm not going to read that tonight. I think I've read that once before here. This is a hymn to God the Father. Wilt thou forgive that sin where I begun? Which is my sin, though it were done before? Wilt thou forgive those sins through which I run, and do them still, though still I do deplore? When thou hast done, thou hast not done, for I have more. Wilt thou forgive that sin by which I won others to sin, and made my sin their door? Wilt thou forgive that sin which I did shun, a year or two but wallowed in a score? When thou hast done, thou hast not done, for I have more. I have a sin of fear, that when I've spun my last thread, I will perish on the shore. Swear by myself that at my death thy sun shall shine as it shines now and heretofore. And having done that, thou hast done, I have no more. John Donne. Here's another hymn to God the Father, Ben Jonson. He lived from also. 1572 to 1637. He made it 6 years longer than Donne did. Hear me, O God, a broken heart is my best part. Use still thy rod, that I may prove therein thy love. If thou hadst not been stern to me, but left me free, I had forgot myself and thee. For sins so sweet as mine's ill bent, rarely repent until they meet their punishment. Who more than crave than thou hast done, that gavest a son, to free a slave first made of naught, with all since bought. Sin, death, and hell, his glorious name quite overcame. Yet I rebel and slight the same. But I'll come in before my loss, me father toss, as sure to win under his cross. And then one or two Rodney Q, and I've read from this before. It's called Listen to the Lord. And there's what Ron looked like when he wrote this. If you had bought this book when it was published in 1967, you could have got it for 15 shillings.
All right.
Now it's $10. So there's been a little bit of inflation since then. This book is dedicated to E. So if your name starts with an E, it's dedicated to you. First name, last name, middle initial. And then here's a little dedication here. If you cry when we leave Paris, I'll buy you a teddy bear, all soft and gold. I may have read this before, I don't remember. It's been a while since I read this, but from this. If it sounds familiar, you can yell at me later. This is called A Folk Song for Judy. I gave my love a cherry, and she spit the seed at me. I gave my love a chicken, and she choked on the bones. I gave my love a baby, and she went away. My analyst has cured me of my self-destruction tendencies, but he's made of me instead a voyeur. Every evening while waiting to be ushered from his waiting room, I go to the window and watch the people in the apartment house across the way going to the bathroom. I never see my doctor anymore. I know that's very mean. I thought he was a friend of mine. He thought I was James Dean. This is called the Dance, and it was written for Herb Alpert. The Dance, Rodney Q. The strong young bulls don't come to the ring to die on Sunday. They come to show a man their energy, their pride. The dancing that they've practiced all their lives to bring to the arena one August afternoon. Their partners are not killers then. They're dancers too. Their red capes flashing, three-cornered hats that scoop applause when the dancing's done. Pity that the strong young bull, he takes his chance, as does the matador, the price for coming to the dance. Young men pretty in the sun against the handsome bulls. Killers? No, only dancers in the dance. To see the dancing is to know. I don't believe that really. I'm of the Taurus sign, and every dead bull in the ring is my relation. This is for Gordon. This is called A First and Last Visit to an Annex in Burbank. Time was you couldn't see the forest lawn for the trees. Not so anymore. Real estate is real estate and lumber is only lumber. It used to make a fine pine box. They don't make caskets out of pine these days. They're made of bent John birch. But the graveyard's open every night for your inconvenience, and plastic trees at Christmas time fill every loved one's need. On hearing the wedgie shoe king have died, I went to pray at empty shrines. While I was there, they came to scrapping, not unlike the sound of slugs that slide along the sidewalks aiming for the lawn. Imagination? No. Only the friendly dead calling help. I know I'd have competition on the singer next door. And lastly, this is called the grand opening going at a business sale. Mad dogs rumble in the jungle, come and see it for a penny. Where is hope? There isn't any. Set your course and sail for the grand opening going at a business sale. Truth like buffalo is dying. Can you spare $1, buddy? Streets and stores alike are muddy. Shop and save by mail at the grand opening going at a business sale. The mood is so monotonous, I guess it's lost its pull. Lady, you can't stay here long. The parking lot is full. All the new and fancy dances now are done a mile apart. Don't you dare to steal my heart unless you've got the veil at the grand opening going at a business sale. Why would you?
All right, I got 3 poems tonight. And the first one is called The Hermit, and it's by the first Texan poet, laureate, and his name is Judge Mortimer Lewis. And the poet laureate is a accomplishment award that you get for being good at poetry. And anyways, this is from his book, Lilts. Don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's Lilts of Love. And it's called The Hermit. The Hermit, out of the north wind's fury, out of the rout and storm, snuggled within the cottage, coiled in the ingle warm. How the old days obsess one, how the old memories swarm, how the old days obsess one, flickers the flame of high, how the old loves caress one, loves of the days gone by, and the corners are full of shadows, and wraiths that move and sigh. And the corners are full of shadows, and my eyes start with the smoke, and a lump in my throat has risen and grown till I nearly choke. And the dog that was crouched beside me has started and half awoke. When the doors to the past swing open, and days that I one time knew, and friends that made them happy, with laugh and song and swarm through, it is then that the blood runs riot and warms as it used to do. How old days obsess one, waves all drenched with dew, a world rain washed and glowing, skies pink and azure blue, birds calls that lilt and echo, and woods that coax and woo. The north wind shrieks in fury, the flickering flame leaps high, and the smoke blown outward eddies and smarts and bedims the eye, and out of the corner shadows comes the wraith, a laugh and a sigh. That's it in piece. Alright, this one's mine. It's brand new. It's called Finding My Balance. finding my balance, always fighting myself with myself in my head's voices over nonsenses as doubt triumphing over beliefs, indulgence triumphing over abstinence, anger triumphing over happiness, enragement triumphing over merriment, manic depression triumphing over euphoria, post-traumatic stress triumphing or disorder triumphing over certainty, existential angst triumphing over purposeful meaning, failure feeling triumphing over successful feeling, loss without guidance, feeling triumph with guidance, belief, meaning, and understanding, hating on and attacking everything and everyone whenever neither one ever attacked or hated on me first, learning never to initiate battles or fights that I can't win because it is my time's waste, learning to embrace opportunism instead of pessimistic cynicism, learning to find my balance in my life's everything, learning to not let my ego, id, biases, and emotions get in my way while creating anything and writing my poetry, learning to find my middle ground of writing for myself and still catering to my readers, learning to still write for myself and only post and publish reader-worthy poems, learning to not go out of my way in order to be offensive, controversial, vulgar, obscene, absurd, racy, and or explicit in my poetry, learning not to let everything enrage me to the point of blowing up like an atomic bomb, and always ranting and venting about them in my poetry, learning to see that I can't solve and prevent our today's world's problems, learning to enjoy all things, no matter their size and worth, learning to compromise with my readers, learning that I was wrong to only write for myself, learning to be open-minded whenever it comes to everything and anything in my life, learning to find and make my happiness, learning to find and create my purpose, learning to find and create so much more than above. That's in peace. I got one more. All right. This one is really short. It's called Disappearing into Non-Existence. Disappearing into non-existence. With my blood, sweats, guts, mind, heart, exhausted energies, grinding, binding, winding, grinding, and blinding, I built a stone flying apparatus in order to escape this reality, in order to escape this world, in order to escape this universe. Will I soar through the void and find a black hole to venture through? Will I take off? Will I fall and crash? Will I fall and crush myself? Will I even make it out of this universe? That's in peace. Thank you. Can't fly a stone.
Eric, you wrote that poetry?
The first one, not. The second and third one, yeah.
I'm standing in your awe. You did a great job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I was here a few weeks ago and I read this little saying here that meant a lot to me. I hope it did to you, but I've been reading it every day, once a day since then. It makes so much sense to me. I'm going to start with that tonight. It says you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. I try to read that every day. That's pretty meaningful, I think, that you can do that. I thought sometime this week was Valentine's Day, yesterday, I believe. So I decided to do a little research on Valentine's Day. If I had my glasses, I want to tell you what I found. It says a priest in the Catholic Church named Valentine served in the 3rd century while the Emperor of Rome was Claudius II. And Claudius, sort of like us, had a few wars going, a few skirmishes going, and he was trying to recruit people to be soldiers. And he decided that he wasn't getting what he needed because these guys that were married and had families didn't want to leave. So he put out a decree outlawing young people to get married. They couldn't get married. This priest named Valentine said, that's pretty unfair. He went behind his back, you know, and started marrying a few people. And guess what? Claudius found out about it. He had him in prison. Finally went to court and was sentenced to die. But while he was in jail, he fell in love with the jailer's daughter. And so when it came to the day that he was supposed to be executed, he took a little card and wrote a note on it and signed it, "From your Valentine." I believe that's where they claimed that it got started. Old Claudius, he didn't like somebody disobeying him. He wanted to build up his army. So. I tell you what, today is Donna's birthday.
Happy birthday.
And if you take the number 17 and turn it around, that's her birthday. I messed up real bad. I let time slip away up until yesterday before I realized it was her birthday, so I made a terrible mistake. I gave her my credit card. I said, "Hey, go in there and get whatever you want." Well, don't ever do that. They'll take you at your word. You know, so, anyway, I got a little poem I want to read about her birthday. It says, "Happy birthday to my sweetheart who has become an important part of my life. I always love when this day is here because it's just another reason to hold you near. Another moment for special embraces and another reminder of your good graces. Another day to appreciate you more, another day to thank God for. May this day bring fond memories that would last for a lifetime." Happy birthday. Anyway, I wrote her this poem, you know, roses are red. I read it to her, I didn't write it. Roses are red and violets are blue. Video games are cheaper than dinner for two. So she took the occasion to answer that. She said, "Roses are red, violets are blue. The donkey standing in the field reminds me of you."
Wow.
So you got to be careful to get these days right. Now, on a more serious note, I think it was last Sunday I had the occasion to attend the celebration of life for Joe Dan's brother, Tommy. I didn't know Tommy very well. I met him a few times. He really always had a smile, nice guy. But they must have been 10 people, Joe Dan, I don't know, came up to speak a eulogy for him. Of course, none more eloquent than Joe Dan, but I got to thinking, boy, when I'm passed, I hope I have at least 1 or 2 people that can say those kinds of things. They describe a life well lived. That's what I can say about that. So, Joe Dan, we feel your pain. Tommy always had the big smile. You know, that's the way I remember him. I met him at Virginia Chapel a couple of times. And so we got a phone call Monday morning that Donnie's brother had died. He lived in Hutto, down south of Austin. So she'll be leaving Sunday morning, I believe, after Virginia Chapel. She'll be leaving to go down to that funeral. So, have sympathy for both of you. So I found a little poem about it called "Empty Space." There's an empty space where you used to be, and a pain in my heart that just won't go away. I couldn't have asked for a better friend. You were my faithful mentor until the end. Now you're roaming the endless fields, forever free to run. Listen to the song of the wind beneath the golden sun. Meet me at the rainbow when the time is right. Run into my presence once more and walk with me into the light. So we got that to look forward to. There's always an upside of things. If we get to looking at it just right, you know, we can find something to be glad about. Picked up a magazine the other day, Agriculture magazine, and it had a couple of little poems that some kids had written. I really like the one here. It's called "I'm a Farm Girl." I'm a farm girl, and up the road she comes, a child of 4, not expected to be in a 501E John Deere tractor. As the giant black tires came to a brake, little hands slowly pushed open the wide green door, revealing a grinning Grandpappy and Olivia. Out she pops, like a held-down corpse, ready for action in blue jeans and a t-shirt and a short bob. With a grin as wide as a mile, she climbed down the steel stairs, carefully placing her tiny mucks precisely on each step. And before touching the ground and looking around, she turned to us and announced, "I'm a farm girl." I thought that was cute. That was in the practice class. So anyway, that's what I had to share tonight. Thank you for listening. I enjoyed presenting. And be nice.
Well, my name's Kris Martinson. As you can see, I got allergies, so I'm not contagious. Not bad to sing 2 songs, 1, 2, chapter. I will. What was my first one? I forgot. Oh yeah, friendship. Man. The vase can be broken and thrown away. The flowers will soon wither and then decay. Friendships can't be bought, borrowed, or stolen. Friendships that is a friend is worth weight in gold. Friendship is only friendship when it's given away. Won't you be my friend today? I thought that was kind of cool. One more. Come on. When you want this to hurry, it won't hurry.
Good old technology.
Donna, you weren't here last time when I did this one. It was about my guitar. My guitar has 6 strings. It gets lonely when I can't even read. Hold on. Do over. My guitar has 6 strings. It gets lonely when nobody sings. Musical and magical. My pick makes my guitar sound so magical. And no matter where I go, she's right there. When I play my guitar, people always stare. We sound so good together. I hope my guitar will stay with me forever. My guitar has 6 strings, but it gets lonely when no one sings. My guitar is never out of tune. It doesn't matter who I play it to. Whether you're happy, mad, or feeling blue, just remember my guitar will help you get through. There you go, man. That's it. The expert.
Well, I was going to have a guest come up from Hawkins this evening, but she had to get her children dropped off. So, anyway, I asked her if she had a nice poem that she was going to read. So she sent it to me in a Gmail, and I told her I would read it for her. Her name is Jill Raymond, and she's in Hawkins, Texas. Late one night, under a clear blue sky, we were alone, just you and I. My heart so tender, your arms so strong. I knew that's where I belong. I remember of 10 times we shared once. I thought you really cared. My friends all warned me not to fall too deep. The love I gave to you for keeps. Now that it's over, the good times are gone. I wonder how it lasted ever so long. Thank you, Jill, for sending that to me.
That was good.
This one's on the cowboy songs and ballads.
Other front.
Yeah.
It's got some good
That's
ones
the
in here.
Lomax book.
That's right. How'd you know? You've read it, haven't you, Joe?
It's a famous book.
Oh, okay. I'll put this up there. This is called Cowboy's Meditation. You always wonder what to think about when, they was out on the range and they was taking cattle from South Texas all the way up to Kansas. They didn't get there like we get there today's times and all that. So this is called the Cowboy's Meditation. I should have worn my glasses. At midnight, when the cattle are sleeping, On my saddle I pillow my head, and up in the heavens lie peeping from out of my cold grassy bed. Often and often I wondered at night, when lying alone, if every bright star up yonder is a big peopled world like our own. Are they worlds and the ranges and ranches? Do they ring with Rough Rider refrains? Do the cowboys scrap there when Comanches and other red men of the plains? Are the hills covered over with cattle in those mystic worlds far, far away? Do they ranch houses ring with prattle of sweet little children at play? At night, in the bright stars up yonder, do the cowboys lie down to their rest? Do they grace at the good old world and wonder if the Rough Riders dash over the breast? Do they enlist to the wolves in the cow? Do they watch the night owl in its flight? With their horse, their only companion, while guarding the herd through the night. Sometimes, when a bright star is twinkling, like a diamond set in the sky, I find myself lying and thinking, it may be God's heaven is nigh. I wonder if there I shall meet her, my mother whom God took away, if in the star heavens I greet her at the roundup that's on the last day. In the cast of the great daylight is breaking, and into the saddle I spring. The cattle from deep sleep are awakening. The heaven thoughts from them we wring. The eyes of the bounce are flashing. Impatient, he pulls up the reins, and off, round up the herd, I go dashing, a reckless cowboy of the plains.
I need to ask you to take that.
Okay.
And
Hold that.
I'm going to ask you to hold this one.
Okay. Let me get a better angle.
My name's Joe Boyd, and I was a brother of Tom Boyd, and I appreciate all the words that have been said about him today, as well as that celebration of life that Conrad talked about. I miss him, and my life will never be the same. I am still reading tribute poems of my high school friend Bartow Fanning. Once again, he sent me, he and I used to write poems and prose stuff together when we were in high school. He put this together not a few years ago and sent this to us. It's called Bartow's Verse, and it's some of what he thinks, I guess, are his best poems. And I selected a couple of them that I want to read tonight. Mainly it's a tribute to him because he and I had tried to inspire each other when we were in high school, and even to some extent, you know, we're both still doing that today in old age. And this particular one, this first one, I remember he wrote this one a few years ago. I think got a date on it. Let's see. Don't see a date on this, but I seem to remember that one time that he wrote this for a special event. It's called Old Glory Waves. So if you're patriotic and you like to see the flag wave, you know, this one will appeal to you, I think. It's not a very long poem. We've got 3 real complete verses to it. But I've always thought it does a really good job of capturing Old Glory. You know, when I was a boy, a lot of people called the flag Old Glory. It was common to do that then. You don't hear that so much anymore. In fact, I don't even remember the last time I heard anyone do that. But he remembered it. It's in the title, Old Glory Waves. So I'm going to read it, try to do it justice. This is for and by my great friend Bartow Fanning. Old Glory waves forever over the land of the brave and the true. To thee, our blessed homeland, we pledge America love anew. Your stars proclaim the Union, your stripes our history, and honor to the valiant who redeemed our liberty. We are heirs of the world's courageous, a debt to peace we owe, but with our might we hold the light of freedom's beacon glow. And in harm's way, if need be, we'll challenge tyranny with justice, truth, and honor, and our faith in victory. And we claim the promise given, our proud democracy here. We're all born equal and free to choose our destiny. This vision must not perish, so we vow together to keep the faith today, America forever. Thank you, Bartow Fanning.
Nice.
And this other one, the second poem, he wrote it in 2002. And it's a little bit, not a little bit, it's quite a bit on the humorous side. Bartow Fanning was a Baptist. It is, to this day, he's a Baptist. And I remember when he married his wife, Phyllis, she too was a Baptist. She in fact was the daughter of a Baptist preacher in Como at the time. Bartow was still living here in this area. And so he married a Baptist, and they're still married, live in Lubbock, Texas. And he wrote this poem in 2002 called The Baptists Don't Waltz. And the way it's written here in the punctuation, Baptists don't has quote marks around it. So it means he intends us to see the title of this as not just a waltz, but the title of it is The Baptists Don't Waltz. Okay? Now some of you know some of the background of that, you know, like Baptists generally, a lot of them anyway, don't approve of dancing of any kind, especially couple dancing on ballroom floors and things like that. They're not all that way, but a lot of them are. And this is kind of his attempt, I think, to not only to put forth what is to some people one of the tenets of Baptist dogma, Baptist discipline, Baptist theology, but also to make a little fun, poke a little fun at it. The Baptists don't waltz. And I'll try to read this in the spirit that I think he wants it read. The moonlight was dancing in her auburn hair. The music was soft and it wafted through her hair. May I have this dance? I sweetly asked her. And that's when I heard that Baptists don't waltz. Baptists don't waltz or do the soft shoe, dirty bop or rumba, to name just a few. All the dances that seem to tempt you, just wrestling to music. Good Baptists don't do. She was so lovely, a vision divine. I poured her a drink, she would politely decline, saying, lips that touch liquor will never touch mine. And then she sang to me, the Baptists don't waltz, Baptists don't drink, nor date them that do. And they don't snort, and they surely don't chew. If you really love me, then neither will you. When she put it that way, what else could I do? My Baptist sweetheart was just 17. Her pa was a preacher, but he could be mean. To make music with her, I had to come clean and learn by heart the Baptists don't waltz. Baptists don't waste love for fun just right now. True love's too precious to waste anyhow. Besides, you know what I won't allow. There'll be no whoopee till after the vow. So we got married the very next June and went on a 50-year honeymoon. And now, when we can remember the tune, we sing to each other, the Baptists don't waltz. The Baptists don't waltz. The Baptists don't waltz. When hypocrites sing it, it's phony and false. The life that we live will tell all our faults and sing a lot louder than the Baptists don't waltz.
That was good.
Thank you to Dr. Fanning for some great humor and it's a pretty good theology, Baptist theology. We always close these meetings with a paragraph from How to Read a Poem, subtitled And Fall in Love with Poetry by Edward Hirsch. And today's paragraph is a little longer than usual. It's about maybe close to half a page. The amplitude of his feeling is nearly unbearable, and he starts shaking his fist at God, using a child's language, calling God a bully, because now he is aware that God has taken away so much, become so much is lost. How dark it is outside, he exclaims. And then he asks, what was I going to say? The sudden colliding of worlds of the past and present creates a gap or a hole in the mind and thus in the text. He cannot recall what he was going to say because the experience is dislocating, the outer darkness bewildering. He has lost himself in time, which Beckett calls that double-headed monster of damnation and salvation. And then he recovers. Oh yes, now I remember. And he proceeds to face what can no longer be evaded. There is ruthlessness in proceeds because of all those hours I slept soundly through calm. Calm nights, he declares. That is because of all those nights when he was safe and unconscious. Because of all those loved ones who are deep in dreams. And that is because of all those who are unconscious now, unaware of the peril that surrounds them, he realizes that time is running out and announces, I can't stand being here by myself. The lamp-light's too strong. Hence, the lamplight becomes the emblem of a consciousness that is too much to bear. An isolation that is killing. The end. We pick up here next month. I do have an announcement. Tomorrow night at Tennessee Chapel is the music night, the concert, praise and gospel music night, and headlining the show will be Ken and Donna, known as the Franklin County Troubadours. And, so in addition, Doc and Kris will be on the program. There'll be several others on the program. George, by no last but certainly not least, is George Short, the original Tennessee Chapel Troubadour, and we'll have a good time. It's free, open to the public. Show up at 6:30, stay, and it'll be done. We'll be done at 8 o'clock. So there'll be 6 acts come on for 3 songs each. And that's it. You got anything to say, Ken or Donna?
And Joe Dan will also be on stage.
But that's a minor.
I heard there's free coffee and cookies.
I'm gonna personally guarantee it's gonna be a good show, because we don't like to give anybody's money back at the end of the day.
Thanks to Donnie Ditto, Vic Clark, and Conrad Wolfman for holding this together all these years.
All right.
Baptist story there, you know, it's got